The longer it's been since the last drought, the closer we are to the next. We know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Does it begin next year?
And is California ready as we move toward a drier, warmer world? A question Dr. Jeffrey Mount, his colleagues at the Public Policy Institute of California, and other state agencies are trying to answer, especially since the top climate hazards as we move towards 2050 largely involve water. Even in this fifth largest economy, our last drought from 2012 to 2016 showed we still don't have the water issue figured out. If we did, people like Ruben Perez wouldn't have found themselves without water.
When I was taking a shower, dirt was coming through there. I was running out of water. A lot of people, the same thing. They weren't aware of that. They thought they had water for the rest of their life.
Ruben lives in a South Central Valley town called East Porterville, one of the hardest hit areas during the last drought.
It was crazy because, people were getting sick. Some people were bathing the kids with toilet water.
That was nearly 5 years ago, and look at East Porterville today. Recovery hasn't been easy, and in some cases, people just left, abandoning their homes. There simply wasn't enough water.
This is the important part. Remember, 75% of the rain falls north of Sacramento, 75% of the use of water is south of Sacramento. So we have to transport water great distances.
The delivery, or conveyance system in California, operates by storing water from mountain snowmelt in reservoir lakes like Folsom, Shasta, and Oroville. When water is needed, it's released into rivers and canals, which take it downstream to different parts of the state. So one of the big questions is, do we build more reservoirs? Dr. Mount says in a drier, warmer world, we run into a big problem with likely more rain in the Sierra than snow.
We've built storage in all the really easy places. And there are places where you can build storage, but you can't fill it, because you're just not going to have enough water to fill it. So it makes no economic sense. That is not true for groundwater.
This is water that percolates through the ground when we get big rainstorms or from engineered storage ponds. It's stored there and then pumped to the surface when needed. But just like above-ground reservoirs, there's a supply limit. It's an issue Michelle Sneed, a leading hydrologist with the United States Geological Survey, sees as a growing concern. She's lowering this tape measure until she reaches water.
So that has not reached water yet?
No, it's like 145 feet. It's like 350 feet or so. Yeah. We're not in a drought. I was measuring water levels that were 630 feet below land surface.
When water drops that low, look at what happens. This was where the surface level was in 1988. By 2016, it had sunk or subsided by over 6 feet.
It's kind of like a sponge. As you dry out a sponge, it gets a little bit thinner. So that's what's happening underneath our feet.
To limit sinking and protect this viable water supply, the legislature passed the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, or SGMA, in 2014. It requires government and water agencies to have a plan for less pumping and more recharge between the years of 2040-42.
We get our water in a very short time period now. We have to do everything we can while it is raining to maximize how we use it, how we spread it, how we store it, how we save it.
Janine Jones from the California Department of Water Resources, or DWR, says in addition to those best practices, long-range forecasting has to improve.
Because the state of the science is just not there. It is a significant research challenge, and historically the federal resources haven't been there for this area of the science. We need to put more resources to it and really accelerate the development of these technologies.
Bringing us back to the question, is California prepared for drought in this drier, warmer world?
So let me be a professor and give a grade. The large urban areas are doing a good job. Some of them are falling down. They get an A. On agriculture, people are working really, really hard, but they're vulnerable, so they got like a C+. Disadvantaged communities, I'm going to give them a B-. And the reason is we finally have the money to do this, but we got a long way to go. And I'm going to give a D on the environment because we just haven't solved that problem. So until we can balance all of that, we're not ready for a drought.
What's the worst thing about not having water?
thinking about, you know, you're gonna die or, you know, you're gonna get sick. Because you need water.